Here's why your subconscious is attracted to partners that will trigger you or even be toxic to you. You will tend to attract someone who is the opposite coping mechanism that you took for your own childhood trauma, setbacks, challenges, or low self-esteem. Let's look at the inner work chart to see what I mean. When we look at the wounded patterns of human relationships, if we look at, say, the wound of rejection, and if you shut down and you feel worthy of rejection, you now feel worthless or unworthy of love, you will be subconsciously attracted to someone who overcompensated for that wound and feels completely like narcissistic in a sense of like of course they're lovable. They have no vulnerabilities. They are not even worthy of rejection. It's impossible to reject them. So you'll be toxically attracted to each other because you feed each other. The person who feels worthless will easily take all the denial and escaping the accountability that the narcissistic partner wants to dish out. And they'll get stuck in this vicious cycle. Now, the unworthy person will also validate and make the narcissistic person feel good about themselves because they'll have someone to make inferior. Let's take one more, the wound of judgment. If you were highly judged and went through wounds of judgment as a child and you undercompensated for that, you internalized that. Now you feel like you need to, repress yourself because you're gonna get judged. And so you become a people pleaser. You will tend to be attracted to someone who is hyper judgmental and very staunch in what they think is right or wrong. This again will create a vicious toxic cycle because the judgmental person will judge the people pleaser and the people pleaser will agree and give in and they'll feed each other in a loop. So if we're to keep going through the wounds, we would see how there's a pattern. There's a version that undercompensates, which is they internalize the wound and then that shuts them down. It usually makes them repress in some way, shape, or form. And then we have the overcompensation, which acts like it didn't even affect them, but then they're in denial of it, which also is hurtful. These two tend to attract each other because it's like the subconscious is trying to find the middle way, the balance of the two, because both extremes are unhealthy and technically coming from a coping response. And so if two people are together out of a coping response, then they are still in the trauma. Nothing's actually changing. And so in order for them to meet in the middle, they both have to learn how to heal the wound within themselves rather than trying to balance the scales with another person. You are the only one who can make you feel worthy of love, for example. Love is something that comes from within us. It's not something we get. To learn more about these wounds, you can get the book, The Inner Work of Relationships, that will dive deep into the nuance of how these patterns play out and how we think, how we feel, our past traumas, what it's made us think about ourselves, and most importantly is how we now are doing this in our current relationship and what we need to do to heal.